Canada, a nation that prides itself on diversity and inclusiveness, a mosaic of cultures, religions, and traditions. Recently, our democracy celebrated another milestone with the election of its newest Canadian Hindu Member of Parliament, who hails from a family of 1971 Bangladesh Hindu genocide survivors. However, not all responses were celebratory. A Brampton-based Hindu-phobic news media organization has been attempting to undermine this achievement with divisive tactics, and with no real understanding of Canadian values. This is not just about one MP, it's about a bigger narrative, one that tries to vilify Hindus and display Hindu phobia among Canadians on online media platforms. Hindu Canadians are one of the most educated, prosperous, peaceful, and hard-working minority groups in Canada. Hindus have the lowest representation when it comes to crime in Canada. The vilification of Hindus in the online and offline world constitutes online threats, doxing, hundreds of negative Google business reviews, defamation, false accusations are common behaviors, vandalization of faith centers, and false allegations. Recently, a Hindu Canadian from Surrey, BC was doxed online for having an opinion about a street blockage. He was fired from his job. There have been several incidents that endanger economic prosperity and well-being of Hindu Canadians. Even journalists on Canadian soil are not safe while criticizing the rot within this movement, especially Hindu journalists. On March 20th, Canadian Hindu news director at Radio AM 600, Samir Kajal, was attacked by a pro-Khalistani group in Surrey, British Columbia, in Canada, as well, where local police were made mere spectators and no arrests were made in the following incident. Examples as such are examples of growing Hindu phobia in Canada. Even Hindu temples in Canada are vandalized with Khalistani slogans and symbols. Hindu Canadians and Indian diplomats are personally targeted in Canada, as Khalistanis have used posters to assassinate Indian diplomats. This is not the first where Canadian Khalistanis have targeted Canadian Hindus in Canada, whether it's MP Chandanarya from Liberal Party or Shuvaloy Majumdar from Conservative Party. Khalistani diaspora and machinery attacks Hindu businesses where they leave negative reviews in masses on Google, terrorizing Hindu businesses not to speak and exercise their freedom of speech in Canada, or Hindu students living in Canada who get attacked and are threatened for their livelihood and safety in Canada. Similar pattern was noticed in 2020 BC provincial elections, where a Canadian Hindu politician, Nima Manral, and her family was attacked for their Hindu heritage and background. These attacks are too many and too common in growing instances of Hindu phobia in Canada. This comes in the wake of JT Trudeau's failed G20 summit that recently concluded in India last week. The safety of its diplomat remained a highlight issue from the Indian side, while urging the Canadian government to crack down on drug trafficking groups. All of this has also negatively impacted Canadian-India relations, as Canada suspended its trade talks with India. Hindu hatred and Hindu phobia in Canada is only making things worse for Canadian Hindus in Canada. For Baz News and its owner, Jaskaran Sandhu, the business of spreading misinformation remains its peak demand. The Hindu-phobic media outlet continues to spread misinformation and disinformation, as it has done several times in the past. Recently, it falsely accused Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre when he met a Hindu faith leader who was falsely accused of many crimes. The news outlet falsely attacked Pierre Poilievre because of his outreach to Hindu Canadians. This was both fake news and Hindu phobia at the same time. The trashy journalism, hit opinion pieces, and no ethics in journalism research are key highlights of this sham organization. It remains a propaganda machine for the small fringe minority. It must not be taken seriously anymore, especially in Canada's mainstream. This organization consistently indulges in spreading Hindu-phobic material that disenfranchises Canadians and disrupts peace and harmony. Have you also faced such misinformation, attacks, and hatred in Canada? Let us know in the comments below.